Today, I'm going to ask you a question that might challenge you, that might open your mind up a little bit more, that could help you be a little bit happier, be a little bit more peaceful in your life. And this is a question that I have recently asked myself that has totally rocked my world. It's a very, very basic, simple question, but it does take a lot of effort. I would say soul searching. I don't know how to say that without being too corny. It takes a lot of introspection. It takes a lot of questioning and peeling back the layers of your mind and your life. And the question is, why do you want the things that you want? Like, I would suggest getting a pen and paper. And this and obviously you can apply this question to anything. Like when it comes to food, clothes you wear, the houses you buy. This question applies to everything. But I just mean, if I could focus on one area, it would be just more broad. Just ask this question in a more broad sense, which would be, like, all of us have like an ideal life that we envision somewhere in the future where we will be as happy as possible, as rich as possible, as relaxed as possible, as peaceful as possible. Like, we have this ideal life. Every one of us can imagine a life in the future somewhere that usually never comes. We envision this life that will give us everything that we want, that will fulfill us. But the thing is, we never take the time to ask this question about our own lives. Because like I said, we have this idea of this life, whatever it is. Some people say, I want to own a big company worth billions of dollars. Some people say, I just want to own a farm, have a couple cows and chickens and horses and goats and pigs. Some people are like, I want to own a restaurant. I want to own a mechanic shop. I just want to work for a corporation. I want to work in customer service. I want to be a waitress. I want to be a bartender. I want to be a NASCAR driver, an NFL player. We all have this ideal life that will fulfill us and give us everything we've ever wanted and needed. But have you ever, and this is the funny thing, a lot of us also claim that we're independent minded, that we're free thinkers. And I'm guilty of this too. But when it comes to what life we want, we usually borrow it from somebody else. Or we want what we want based off of what our parents told us while we were being raised. Or what our peers in school said would be ideal, or what the marketing says is good. The marketing shows us a picture of us on the beach drinking an ice cold beer, relaxing, reading a magazine, and then life is great. So that's what we think. I need to be on a beach drinking a beer and life is great. But if you truly want to be or claim to be a free thinker, open-minded, literally drop everyone's opinion or anyone's interjection of how you should live. I don't care. Like a lot of people, this is evident because a lot of people get into jobs that their family have done or their friends have recommended. And trust me, I'm one of them. And I still struggle with this because I'm like, I see certain friends or family members doing certain careers that may be good for them. And I think, man, I should do that because it's already proven and it's somebody I know that is doing it, which is the path of least resistance, which just so happens to be the path that our minds want to send us on, is the path that's already forged for us, the path that is already cleared for us. Think about you're stranded in the woods and you're in thick brush. There's only one path. There's like a little walkway that you see right here. You're not going to go towards the bush. You're going to go towards the walkway because it's already clear. You don't have to worry about spider webs and palmetto bushes and branches, and you can walk right through it. And that's typically what we do. We grow up and we're groomed to think that we should be a CEO or a plumber or an electrician or an NFL player or a musician. And we're told by our family, we're told by the television, we're told by social media, we're told by the magazines, we're told by the radio. But have you ever sat down and got a piece of paper and wrote out what you want without anyone else's opinion involved? And like I said, this isn't easy to answer. This is hard. This is hard to really find out. And for example, the last 6 months to a year for me have been very confusing because I would say most of my life, I played football all my life, and coming out of high school, like towards the end of high school and shortly after, all I could ever imagine was either being a teacher or a football coach or a police officer. It's because it was familiar. Football was all I knew. That was my identity. And the police officer thing was because it was noble and my grandparents were in law enforcement. So it wasn't unique to me. It wasn't my decision. It was more of like a circumstantial choice. So, and then I got exposed to new ways of thinking through friends, through a couple long lost friends, and they're more business minded, and they pretty much pitch their ideal life of business and being financially successful and being an entrepreneur. And that really appealed to me because I'm outspoken, I'm driven, I would say I'm pretty vitalized. Like I enjoy life. I'm very positive, and most people like me. I'm not being narcissistic. Like I noticed throughout my life, like even as a kid, like I've always had no problems getting friends and being liked. So I thought that path was for me, like business and selling and becoming super financially successful. And for a long time, since like 2016 or 2017, that's all like my mind has been thinking about. It's like, how can I get in real estate, get in sales, start a business? Everybody needs to start a business. I need to, but like I never really did anything. Like I tried a couple little things here and there, but like nothing, I was never really fired up by anything really. And nothing ever stood out to me, and I never felt compelled. But I fought against like my like my laziness about it and my lack of desire. I fought against it and like kept churning and telling myself to, you'll come up with that magical idea, or you'll find that business that you should be a part of. And just recently, I've came to the conclusion, or not conclusion, but like, because it's not finite, or that's not the end. It's just for now, in my current circumstance, in this current frame of mind, in this season of my life, it's not gonna work. I don't want that level of stress and responsibility, and I don't want to work my life away right now. Maybe later, I don't know, maybe something will happen. I'm open to choosing a different path later in life. But as of right now, that's not going to work for me. I'm not driven by it. And relatively speaking to those type of people, I'm now lazy and unmotivated and all that stuff, which is fine. But I actually, like I said, this whole question of this video is what changed it all. Like, this question came across my mind, and it was through my pursuit of trying to find the answers. And if you're somebody like me that always wants the answer for life and who we are and what we should be doing and how we should be living, like I've ever since like 2017, like I came across self-help books and inspiration, motivational stuff, and since then I've been like on this journey, just trying to find how to think about life. And I just now stumbled across this question that I've never addressed. And that question leads to other questions, like, what is success to you? What should you be doing with your time? What makes a good life to you? What would make your day the best day ever? You know, like if you go based off of everybody around you, that these people aren't you, and they don't look at the world the same way you do. It's unfair to yourself and the short life that you have to just do things because somebody else said it was good to do. Like, honestly, dude, if you want to be homeless and not work, and you want to, I'm not saying you should, but if that makes you happy, it's literally from 2017 until the last 6 months, I have to be rich. I have to be a millionaire. I have to make a lot of money. I have to be super financially successful. And then I asked this question. I'm like, okay, my mind just constantly just goes out there into left field. Okay, let me imagine if I had everything I've ever wanted, all the money in the world. I have a wife and family's great, and I have a big house and I have the fancy cars and a boat and four-wheelers and all these things that I've always wanted. Now what? Now what? When you have everything you've ever wanted that you think you wanted, now what? Now what's the purpose of life? You have everything. Now what? So I asked that question. I'm like, Because the reason I asked that question is because we delay our happiness. We delay our contentment. We delay our tranquility because we're like, we have to fight to get to that place where we have everything we want. Then we can relax. Then we can appreciate our time and love people around us and enjoy everything. But now we have to fight. We have to work. We have to grind. Blood, sweat, and tears. And then a lot of times people get to that place because we're all capable. And like your parents say, you can do anything you want. It's true. It's true. Doesn't mean you should. It's true though. So we get that. We get there. And then we realize it's not enough, and it's not. And then we're disappointed, and then we get depressed because, holy shit, everything we've ever wanted we have, and I'm still not happy. How does this make sense? So ask the question. Ask it 1,000,000 times every single day when you wake up. Why do I want what I want? Let's say you're in a business program, or let's say you're in a program to be a doctor. You're 4 years, 6 years in, and you're like, in the back of your mind, you're always like, why the hell am I doing this? But your parents are constantly telling you how proud they are, how you've lived up to the expectations, and you have to do this because you'll get a better life, according to them, by the way. And you're sitting there like, I don't want to do none of this. I think you'd be surprised on how many people, you probably wouldn't be surprised because you're probably one of them. How many people are living a life that, if they had the complete choice and freedom to choose, they would not live. So my new perspective on life is a minimalist life. Obviously, if you watch my recent videos, it's like I'm not worried about my career. I don't need a fulfilling career. I don't need to achieve the highest level of success or whatever it is to you or to the world or social media, whatever it is. I don't need it. It's just interesting to think about. Like it's deep. And if you are the person, like let's say you are like a super driven, motivated business person and you want to make millions, I am not judging you. I gave you an example about me, but I ain't judging you. Some people are just wired that way. Like literally, I know people, I lived with people that are just wired for financial freedom and success, and just they're going to be super wealthy, like no doubt. Like, and I still think it's possible for me, but I'm not really motivated by that. Which, when I first came across that thought, which was, dang, dude, you're not motivated by money and success. Like, you're kind of a loser. And hey, some people probably say that, which is okay too. But I remember struggling with that thought, and I was like judging myself, like, dude, you have to get rich, bro. You have to get rich, man. Like, don't give up. You're being a loser. You're being a quitter. But I just think you should ask that question. And then ask other questions, you know. What would make a good life if you could choose? And just picture yourself. Close your eyes and just imagine you had everything you ever wanted. Nothing else you could have physically. No more materialism things. You've had everything. Have the house, the cars, the airplanes, the private jets. You have an island. And you've had all that for 3 or 4 or 5 years. Because obviously if you had all that stuff right now, you'd be in heaven for, you know, a short amount of time. Or maybe 5 years, you'd be fine. 10 years, 20 years, you're like, this is awesome. But then eventually you get to a point where it's like, what is this? What is all of this? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why do I like this stuff? I just think it's funny. Like, I don't know. I just think these are the type of questions that are overlooked because it's like, it's out there. Like, it's like, oh, people that kind of ask these questions, they're kind of weird. Nobody has time for that kind of stuff, obviously. And those same people live lives that they don't really like. And by the way, I'm not saying you should work and have a job that you love and it's the most amazing. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying I don't think you should wake up every day and not like your life. And like it shouldn't be a miserable existence. I mean, there are periods of time, you know, we lose loved ones or pets or things happen. We have medical issues. Life is suffering sometimes. But overall, I don't think life is miserable. But like the Buddhists say, and I'm not religious at all, I like to think I'm agnostic, which is, I think there's probably a creator out there, but there's no evidence of one. But the Buddhists say, life is suffering. And it's suffering because of our attachments and our desires. And it might sound like hippie shit. Because honestly, when I came across it, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever that means. You know, but obviously they say, oh, it's the 4 noble truths, you know. Life, and I'm going to butcher this, so don't quote me, but, you know, life is suffering, and it's suffering, you know, the suffering because of our attachments and our desires. And the 3rd noble truth is removing our desires and our attachments. And then there's the 8-fold path, or the middle way, or something like that. But it all comes from a sense of lack. Like our desires and our wants for things is like, I'm lacking this, so I'm lacking that fancy car because the people that have a fancy car get the girls and all the attention, so I need the attention of the girls, so I need the car. Or, oh my God, my friend has, a big house and he can throw the football inside the house. I need to do that because I want that. It's like it's coming from a place of lack, which causes discontent, which causes frustration, and you're caught in envy and jealousy. And it just has all these negative drawbacks from feeling like you're lacking something. And not to get too philosophical about it, but I wanted to get rich and I wanted to be a businessman, even if it wasn't the best for me, because I was lacking. I felt like I was in a constant state of lack. I'm lacking money. I'm lacking time. I'm lacking notoriety. I'm lacking accomplishments. I'm lacking all these different things that I think I needed or wanted. But just ask that freaking question, man. Like, why do I want the things I want? If right now what you're doing because you think it's a good idea, or you think that other people will think you're smart or good or successful, but deep down you're like, I hate every second of this, which, by the way, I know a handful of people, and I've heard a lot of stories of people that even if they're making a high income in a very awesome career field or industry, every day they don't like it though. They're just like, in the back, they have a sour taste in their mouth of like, God, this sucks balls. But they just keep doing it because their family's proud of them. Their family's happy for them. Their family thinks they're doing good. Their family thinks they're happy. And their friends are like, oh my God, my friend, he's rich and he's making all this money and he's cool. And we go to the bar and all the time. And dude, it's awesome. And it's like, yeah, but okay, those people are happy for you, but I think they'd be happier for you if you were truly happy. If you found out what scratches your itch. If you found out, like if you just, when you come across those people and they're just like, they glow, like they're just happy. You could just tell. It's like, how do you even get that happy? And I am not saying I'm one of those people. Definitely not. I'm not enlightened. I'm not none of that shit. But I'm saying I want to be that way. But, we all know we come across these people and, like, it kind of pisses you off a little bit. You're like, you're way too happy for me. And, like, I don't know. This definitely applies to me. I remember coming across somebody at work, and I was working at a warehouse. And the warehouse sucks balls. Like, I was making, like, $11 an hour doing some hard-ass work. And, I literally freaking throw them 100-pound bags of rice. Like, I don't even know how many bags there were, but we're loading them on pallets. We're wrapping them. We're stacking the pallets. Oh, my God. I had to stretch and warm up and everything so I didn't pull muscle or something. And it was hard as hell. But there's this lady in the office, every day, I'd go get paperwork from her or turn in paperwork or whatever. She's just so happy. I'm like, I'm like sweating and hold on. I'm like sweating and freaking exhausted and tired and all this stuff. And I'd come in there and there'd be days like I'm so tired and like angry and pissed off because I'm doing this work for no money. I'm like a slave. And she's like, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, I want to choke you. But anyway, those kind of people, it's like, what the hell? Like, they have some kind of like cheat code or something. Like, what's up with them? Are they like mentally disabled or something? But I think your friends and people around you may not understand. Like, let's say you're making $100,000 a year and you run a business, but you hate it. You hate everything about it. So you get out of your business and you go work at McDonald's. But let's go back to the business. You have the business. You're making $100,000 a year. You got the house, cars, all this stuff. It's awesome. But you don't like you don't like your life. You don't enjoy anything. You would rather make less money because all your time is taken up by your business. You can't ever separate your personal life and your work life. Everything's blended. So you decide, fuck it. I'm just going to quit. Fuck my business. I'm going to go work at McDonald's. And you quit your job. You sell all your cars and your house. And everybody looks at you like, dude, what in the hell? You just gave away everything. But you go work at McDonald's as a manager. You're making $15 an hour. But you have a free time. But you have your weekends off or something. or you have your every afternoon you can just get off and go work out, go rock climbing, go running. You can go play video games. You can hang out with your buddies. And like now you're like, you feel alive again. You feel happy. You feel excited every day because you have the time. But everybody around you is like, dude, what the you gave up all that and people work hard to get there and you're giving it away. It's okay if you like, I'm just giving you permission to do things that don't make sense to other people. Because my whole life is like that. Like even this video, people are going to be like, he's freaking nuts. But it's okay. One day I'll be dead and people watch this and be like, he's kind of smart. Or not smart, but like, he had an interesting perspective. I actually hope that. Like honestly, this is my main motivation for uploading videos. Because I'm not quite sure if I'm going to have kids and or whatever and married and all that stuff. But I hope people look back on these videos and be like, wow, he was interesting. And maybe they'll be like, maybe I should start living like that. Or maybe I should start asking these questions. Whatever. Anyway, let me know what you think. And definitely ask this question 1,000,000 times until you find the answers. If you're doing careers you hate, or you're living in places you hate, or doing things you hate, just ask why. Why the hell are you doing it? For real, really? We're only here, if you're lucky, 80 years. We're only here for 80 years. I guarantee you, you tell all your coworkers and friends, damn, time flies. I remember graduating high school. I remember them good old days. That's how fast time flies. So you might be 20 or 30 or 40. Look how fast you got there. Who knows? You could be gone next week or next year or 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. 80 years if you're lucky. And you're going to sit there and do shit that doesn't make you happy. You're going to live a life based off of what other people want you to do. Fuck that shit. Anyway, peace.